if you learn stuff that other people don't spend as much time learning, then suddenly you've got something unique to offer and people need these services.
Welcome to the Simple and Smart SEO Show podcast, where we talk all things brand building SEO, helping you connect with your audience, elevate your visibility, and grow your business. I'm your host, Krista Waddell, here to bridge the gap between SEO strategy and real-world business success by bringing you insights, stories, and conversations from the SEO community and beyond. Whether you're an entrepreneur, marketer, or SEO enthusiast, this is your place to learn, share, and build a brand that stands out. So grab a coffee or your favorite tea, and let's dive into smarter SEO for your business. I'm back with another new friend that I met at Brighton SEO in San Diego in 2024, Austin Becker ecommerce marketing. He owns an e-commerce focused digital marketing agency. So Austin, thank you for coming on today to talk about SEO and PPC and just all things e-commerce. I really appreciate you coming on the Simple and Smart SEO Show podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Crystal. It was great to meet up at the conference. It was really a great experience, and mostly because there's fun people like yourself and knowledgeable people like yourself to learn from. So I was really happy to be there and meet you and all the other conference attendees. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's very kind, because like I look at you the same way. I'm like, this guy is way smarter than me, but still, it's fun. And we had the great hot chocolate summit of 2024.
I remember someone got hot chocolate. I got ice cream. I still think about that because I don't buy Ghirardelli here. I get Ben & Jerry's, which is good, but there's something different about Ghirardelli.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was so fun. We were talking marketing in the after hours. And then I learned from you and your friend David that you guys have kind of a marketing summit of your own after the conference. And I thought that was so cool. I did mine on my own, but tell me about how you guys started that tradition.
Yeah. So I was reaching out to a bunch of people on LinkedIn, people who do Google ads, because it's a lonely business if you're by yourself. So I just was reaching out to people at random, and I reached out to David, and David's in Toronto currently, he and his family. We did a couple Zoom meetings just to share ideas and thoughts on Google ads. And then eventually, I'm not that far from Toronto, so I flew up there and we just booked a conference room and just went through business plans for the next year. And it was really helpful to do that with another person, just going over business plans and ideas.
That is awesome. And when you guys told me that's what you're doing, I thought, man, I want to do that. So I want you to know I took your advice to heart. And after the final day of the conference, I went to the waterfront and I did a brand interview of questions. I downloaded an app on my phone. I could read the questions, record my answers, and then I have the GPT that I created for this activity. I put that transcript into the GPT and it helped me create a brand guide. And then from the brand guide, I then went on to create my marketing plan for 2025. And I spent that entire day working on that project. And that was all from your guys' suggestion. And I planned out my 2025 before I left San Diego.
Okay, really cool. I'm glad it was an inspiration. Well, next time, if we're all at the conference together, we should do a group session like this, recording ideas. I think that'd be really cool.
That would be awesome. I'm totally down for that. Tell me how you got started in digital marketing and how you became an agency owner.
Yeah, I've just always done side gigs on nights and weekends. Now I don't, because this is my full-time thing. But when I was working other jobs, I did a bunch of stuff. I sold t-shirts online like everybody else. That's such a popular thing to sell. I sold barbecue rubs. I sold these turkey brines that I made. I would buy and sell stuff from the discount rack at Big Lots or stores like that. I would just buy a bunch of stuff, send it in to Amazon. And this was kind of for fun to make extra cash, all these different things. And at some point I thought, I'm going to try to get a job doing this. So I got a job working at an Amazon analytics company. We would download data from Amazon and build market share reports. It was quite different than Jungle Scout or Helium 10, but it was that kind of industry, like market intelligence on Amazon. That was a good job, but I thought, I just want to make more money and I think I could do this on my own. And so I had a brief segue where I tried to sell my own product on Amazon. But before I even bought inventory, I thought to myself, this is too risky for me and my financial situation at the time. I just didn't have that much cash to burn on inventory. And so I scrapped at that idea, but I had already left the job and I thought, oh crap, I got to make some money. So I just started doing ads for people over Upwork. I'd find jobs on Upwork marketing, actually on Facebook first, but then I moved to Google ads because a lot of people really struggle with their Google shopping. especially the product feeds that you have to use to power Google Shopping. So I figured out how to set up Google Shopping product data feeds in Google Merchant Center. And I found a lot of people needed that. So I wasn't short on work doing that, the product feeds and the e-commerce shopping advertising.
You found product market fit.
Yeah. I remember when I had the t-shirt business, like everybody and their dog sells t-shirts now, and everybody and their dog sold t-shirts back then. But I remember I had an okay t-shirt Shopify store. Now, the first time I turned on Facebook ads, like within 30 minutes, I got a sale. And I was so shocked that it was just an okay t-shirt store. And with like $10 and within 30 minutes of turning on that first ad, I got a sale. And that was like a one-off thing. Like I didn't keep getting sales, but just the fact that the first one came so fast, I thought, gosh, this is really amazing. And Facebook, like Meta is amazing for advertising. I mostly work with Google and I have an employee that focuses on Meta, but it's just phenomenal that there's this app with like 3-something billion users, hundreds of millions of monthly active users just in the US. And like you can put up ads and they'll feed it to the right person and those people will give you money. It's insane. To me, that's how it works. Because in the past, you have to like set up a little storefront, put like an ad in the newspaper, put up like a billboard. People would stroll in slowly and buy stuff. But e-commerce is so different. You can reach everybody really cheaply. And if it's not working, you just turn it off. You haven't signed a contract with like a magazine or a billboard marketing agency to carry your ads. Like you can just turn it off.
So that's how you got started. And then you made that first sale, but then you said you didn't get a whole bunch right after that. What continued to fuel your fire for advertising?
I had a good job at the time, but it was hard to get raises. And I just wanted to make more money because I had to pay for college. So that kind of fueled the fire to keep learning. But it was also fun. Like I thought it was cool to make sales on my own. Like I didn't sell a ton of t-shirts, but the money would come in and I got to keep somewhere around half of it, but I never could scale it. So that's why I had moved on to different jobs. This is something that you probably know as a service provider. If you get a contract with the client and the money's in the door, like you're set. But if you're selling physical products, you have to load up on inventory and that's a big risk. And so as much as I wanted to like start a business based on inventory and like turning over product, the advertising business was so accessible. And I wouldn't say it was easy, but if you learn stuff that other people don't spend as much time learning, then suddenly you've got something unique to offer and people need these services. Because if you're running a retail, like selling products, like you don't have time to figure out SEO and Google product feeds and all that stuff.
So if you were starting your agency today, would you do anything differently? And do you feel like it's still a good time to start? Or do you feel like the people who are in it, they're at the top of the food chain and will stay there?
Yeah. Our mutual friend, David, that we were talking about earlier, he and I have always said, like, as long as you're a functioning adult and you can like show up for a meeting and you can do a little bit of research on like how to set up an ad, like you can probably make money doing this, especially as a freelancer. Like if you're not paying anybody else's salary, it's just you. Oh yeah, you could definitely make money doing this still today. I would, if I was doing this starting from scratch in 2024, I probably would have gone all in on Amazon marketing and just done that because Amazon's grown more in their share of the shopping search market. So like Google is losing some of their market share to Amazon, but Google's not losing market share for things like how to make chocolate chip cookies or how to change a tire. Google's losing search share on shopping related searches. So more people start their shopping journey on Amazon now than they used to. Whereas people used to start their shopping journey on Google more than they are right now. But yeah, that's 2024. If I was going to restart everything again in 2026, I'd probably choose to do some AI advertising. That'll probably be a thing in 2025, 2026 for sure.
I will say that as soon as I saw the Google AI overviews, I went to bed that night and then I sat up in my bed and I was like, they're going to put ads in that. I still have it on LinkedIn because I was like, this is an ads play. Tell me what you think the future holds for AI ads and ads in AI.
Yeah, Google, I've seen Google do that a little bit in the generative search experience. Is that what it is?
That's what they started with, and now they call it the AI overviews.
Oh, gotcha. Anthropic owns Perplexity, and Perplexity isn't half as popular as ChatGPT, but Perplexity has, with that ownership from Amazon, they have this impetus to do shopping. And already there's a pilot program you can apply for. And this is January of 2025. So we'll see if maybe this won't be a pilot in a few months, but the pilot program is you can send Perplexity a product feed of all your inventory. And then like if someone does a search for headsets under $100, Perplexity in theory would take all of the product feeds that it has that contain headsets for under $100 and it would surface those in its generative AI results. And furthermore, it won't be just a link to that website where the product is sold. It will be like an in-app shopping experience where you can check out and make the purchase 100% within Perplexity, which is pretty fascinating. I haven't seen that. I need to spend some more time in Perplexity, but as of right now, that's a pilot program. So some advertisers are probably submitting feeds and then the rest of us are just waiting for permission to do the same.
So the submission of the feeds has to be in conjunction with advertising. It's not just like how Google has the free product feeds.
Oh, that's a good question. And I don't know. I wish I knew.
I am definitely going to check into that pilot program and see if that's something that I could do, if I can just submit my product feed without being an advertiser.
Yeah. And I've applied for the pilot program. If I was in it and I knew the answers, then I would definitely share, but they haven't accepted me to the pilot program yet. I'm on a wait list somewhere.
It's cool just to know that it exists. That is new news to me. So very cool. So I know you're more on the PPC side, but all these changes that are happening right now with LLMs and, like you said, Perplexity and just all of this competition in search, what do you think are the most effective SEO strategies in 2025?
Yeah, for e-commerce stores, just having a product page that's better than an Amazon product page would probably be the first thing I would suggest to anybody. If you're shopping for something on Amazon, usually there's 7 pictures. Maybe one of the pictures is a video. The pictures often have little call outs that show the dimensions or maybe call out the material of the product if it's like an apparel product. And there's tons of reviews and links to other products. It's just so easy to navigate and buy something on Amazon. So if your e-commerce store has product pages that are just like 1 or 2 images, you're not as good as Amazon. And so I just don't know why someone would buy from you unless you're the one and only person that produces that product you're selling and they can't buy it anywhere else. But otherwise, it should just be better than Amazon is like the first small step.
That's really interesting. Is this something that you can recreate in Shopify, like the Amazon experience? And are there any other elements that you'd recommend? Because you mentioned the lots of photos, maybe a video, reviews, anything else that we should be making sure that we do better than Amazon?
Yeah, so the reviews are definitely important. And then as far as like we're talking about elements like pictures, videos, description, bullet points, shipping information, if there's something, if you're selling a product where dimensions matter, let's say like you're selling home goods. So like a lantern it's one thing to see a picture, but people probably need to see the dimensions of the lantern because you can't tell is it 6 feet tall or like 3 feet tall. Like, so anything that a shopper might question when they're looking at the product page, you got to find a way to put that there. And then for SEO specific, like those are all the components or elements that should be on the product page. I just listed off a flurry of ideas, but the SEO to back it up too would be all the metadata that's describing, for example, what are the sections of the page that are available. And you can check this stuff on a tool called validator.schema.org. And for example, if your product page is missing something, you plug it in, you plug your product page into schema.org, you could see what SEO properties are there for search engines to see.
So do you deal with Shopify stores still with e-commerce ads?
Yeah, mostly Shopify.
Okay, so with the schema, like most of the themes are pre-built. So if there's an element missing, what do you recommend to your clients to do to fix it?
Yeah, there's a Shopify app. I think it's called Schema app. I think they had representatives at Hero Comp at Brighton. But anyway, that app, if you had a WordPress site, you can change anything and everything. It's just really complicated. But if you use that schema.app on Shopify, like you can change anything and everything. You just have to use that app. If you have a theme change from year to year, you might wipe out a lot of your SEO work. So I would tell people to use that Schema app. In my mind, it has like an orange logo. Yeah, it's Schema app for Shopify.
I see it now with the orange arrows.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I don't personally work in that app a lot, but I work with people that do, and they'll fill in anything. If the in-stock, out-of-stock metadata's wrong, they can fix it with that. I wish I had time to work in that myself to know the ins and outs of it, but that's what I understand people prefer to use for doing SEO work on Shopify stores because you won't lose everything with the theme updates.
That's very good to know. And there's one of the women in my group, I have a small group for entrepreneurs, and we talk a lot about Google Merchant Center and those products. And I am horrible with anything Google Workspace email or Google Merchant Center. It's like Google has my number. I took it for granted that Shopify had the connections that I needed. And for some of the women in my group, we have a mixture of makers and creative entrepreneurs and resellers. So there's some print on demand, there's some custom items that are happening. There's constantly errors in Google Merchant Center because we don't have those numbers. Like if you are generating your own products, you don't have those like SKUs and the other one, I forgot what it is.
Like the GTIN code?
Yes, those things. So it's like you get these errors. So I just feel like this app could help us a lot in terms of maybe fixing some of those errors that come up. So I'm kind of excited to play around with it.
Yeah, I find that sometimes Merchant Center will look at a product on your store and the product on the store says it's in stock, but the data feed in Merchant Center says it's out of stock. And if they don't line up, Google will disapprove it. And like I've gone into websites where there's a mismatch and like the metadata on the product page is correct, but it's just not seeing the right thing. So then I've reached out to an SEO person that works with that Schema app and they just take care of it right away, which is cool.
That is very cool. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to share that.